Hello everyone, welcome to Team Emerald's Gold presentation. My name is Alejandro Ortiz. I was level designer for Mission 1. Here, your scrapper is tasked with finding a prototype power source, rumored to be inside the basement of a derelict mansion. As we approach the mansion, you may notice some furniture blocking the path, so let's crouch under it. Furniture like this, as well as damaged structures, show neglect over the years. The mansion. And we go up these stairs, we find our first collectible, which leads the player down this hallway where our first mechanic is, which is power transmitter object snapping, allowing us to restore power to certain parts of the mansion, allowing us to open doors and take down barriers. Furniture is strewn around, forcing players to go in certain paths. Our second mechanic are tripwires. When tripped, more barriers will pop up blocking the player's way forward, which will have to reset using buttons on the wall. We find more furniture blocking our path, which the player can either crouch under or jump over. We are blocked here with the second barrier, but we can follow this wire to find a power transmitter to disable, allowing us to move forward. So explore the mansion, we can find this hole in the wall, which drops down to a pool that is electrified by a stray wire. However, we can jump on these wooden pallets to avoid being electrified to grab this power transmitter over here, allowing us to restore power to this door. As we enter this door, we find ourselves in a library, which is full of more tripwires that the player have to avoid, or else will activate the security system. Now the tripwires in a more regular pattern and normally cannot be jumped over, but with the help of furniture and structures lying around, we can get a little bit higher and jump over these tripwires. Now we find an inconspicuous looking painting and two statues, one which appear to be missing something, its shield. So let's try and find it, shall we? Here, we find it around this corner. Let's pick that up and restore it to its proper place, allowing us to reveal a secret door, which gains us access to the basement of the mansion. Here we're in a secure secret facility with an activated security system, so let's find power transmitters to disable, allowing us to move further in. Here we find some more tripwires and a second power transmitter barrier to disable. And here we have one more under the tripwires and disable the barrier. Once through there, we find a vault. However, power does not seem to be activated to it, so we need to restore it. We do this by grabbing power transmitters and moving it through tripwire-filled rooms. Here we carefully navigate through this, making sure that nothing touching the tripwires. As we snapped it in, we notice a green light turn on, showing that power is restored to that side, but there's still another light we need to restore. So let's carefully move through these tripwires, moving the power transmitter with us as we go, make sure neither touches the tripwires, and snap it into place. That green light turns on, indicating that power has been restored to both sides, allowing us to both open and close the vault if we choose to. Now with the vault open, we find the prototype power source we're looking for. So let's grab that and move up this elevator to get out of the basement of the mansion and move to the end of my level and into the beginning of the next. Thank you very much for watching.
Howdy everyone, I'm Amelia Moore and I'm the designer for Level 2 of Team Emerald's Gold project. The first thing the player will do is drop into the roof hatch and onto the top floor of the lab. In this first room, the player will trip the laser in order to open the container on the counter. In the container is a door handle that'll snap onto the door ahead. The player will take the handle and pop it into the door and make their way to the second floor of the lab by going down this stairway. There's a laser on the ceiling the player will need to trip by picking something up with their grapnel and either running under it or throwing it at the laser. Behind them, the cabinet will open, revealing a battery. The player will take this battery from the cabinet and snap it into place on the wall. Behind the console is a second battery that the player will take to the other side and place it. My apologies on the cutscene camera. With the 2 batteries placed, the console will be active and the player can use the button to open the door and proceed to the last floor of the underground lab through another long hallway. On this floor, there are 3 lasers the player will need to trip in order to disable the barrier. The player can achieve this by throwing objects over the partial walls and hitting the lasers. The walls will lower so the player can retrieve any items that were thrown. After hitting all 3 lasers, the barrier will disappear. The player comes back to this table and picks up the battery. They'll take the battery and snap it to the computer. This in turn makes the scanner available for placement. After the scanner is in place, it will make a panel for the player to put beside the door. After opening the door, the player will proceed down the hallway and into the elevator. The elevator will take them up and out of the lab. Here, the player can proceed to the next level.
Greetings everyone. Welcome to my level, the Crate Escape. The player enters the entrance and has to use the boxes in order to get up. And in the level you must collect 8 med kits and escape the level. So the first one is on the top of the box there. Once inside you get to the first setup, which is a pressure plate. Also the second med kit is in there. You have to use the crate in order to jump on top of the shelves. Then once that's collected, you can use the crate again to actually open the pressure plate. As the player's inside, there is the third med kit. And the next setup is the conveyor belt. The player has to hit the switch in order to get the conveyor belt to go to the right direction and put a small enough object through in order to release the door. Once through, there is a breadcrumb there. And the next pressure plate that comes up, once that is open, it gives access to the next section, which has the 4th med kit there. And the player must do a little bit of jumping to get to the next room stage with the next med kit there. And the next conveyor belt setup. Similar to the other one, you have to press the button in order to allow the correct direction. Once the box goes through, this one actually opens the door to the next major section here. Alright, once through, then on this setup here, there is another breadcrumb leading the way, and the next med kit there, number 6. To the left now, instead of having the button next to the conveyor belt, this one the player has to find, which then allows the player to go to the conveyor belt setup to open the next door. While using another small object here. Once this door is open, they will get their reward, which is the second to last med kit. And the last setup, again, is the final pressure plate, which will allow access to get the last med kit, and also the way out. Player has to do a little bit of jumping to get to this one. They get the last one, and then they escape. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this level.
Hello, my name is Alan Mueller, and this is going to be my thing for GoToView. As the player, you are tasked to collect notes from a scientist that used to work at this facility. And then all you have to do to get there is walk past these 2 trees, and when you make it to this final tree, all you have to do is duck underneath it. And before walking into the building, you're going to see a laser at the doorway. This laser will trigger a hole in the ground that will cause ghost boxes to appear, in which you have to make a bridge with. In order to make this bridge, you use the couch cushions to your left to make this bridge. Though sometimes you just place them down, you can have some fun and just shoot them, and sometimes they do some weird stuff. One more should do it. Apologies, one more should do it. And now we can safely jump across. There we go. And when we enter the next room, we're going to be consistently taking damage for a little bit. We're going to have to use the door in order to make a bridge to the next room. And be careful of the toxic floor, that does more damage the longer you stay on it. Now in this room, I made the lasers change a little bit and made them so that you take damage if you get hit by it. So all you have to do is really just duck down majority of them, and you'll be able to make it across. One more should do it. And now all we have to do is make it up the stairs, and we can make it to my mastery. Almost. And now in this room, you have to use the wood to make bridges across in order for you to safely make it. And still watch out for the lasers, as those still happen to do damage to you. The final laser is crouching underneath them. And as you make it to the final room, you see the notes that you need to receive, and then all you have to do is jump down. Now you slowly make yourself back up onto the ramp. And now we make it a Jenny's level. Thank you. I didn't stop to...
Hello, my name is Jenny Klein. This is the gold presentation, and the player's goal is to get the ingredient out of the sewers. In the first room, you're going to pick up the box and put it on the pressure plate, go down the stairs and pick up a collectible. In this room, there will be barrels in the way that you need to move to proceed. There will be pipes in the way, so you need to crouch under the first one and then jump over the second one. The water in the room is toxic, so you need to get rid of it by activating the valve, which will drain the water. From there, to get to the other side, you need to use these boxes like a ramp to be able to get over. The next room is going to be a water trial room. So essentially, when you walk in the room, the water is going to start rising. So you need to use what's in the room to drain the water before you take too much damage. From here, the next room is Chank's office. So what you need to do is pick up the ingredient so that you can proceed. There'll be a pipe in the way, so go ahead and crouch under that. This is the practice for the pressure plate, so you'll need to place both boxes on the two pressure plates to open the door. This is the twist mechanic, so it combines both the draining of the water and putting boxes on the pressure plates. Make sure you put the boxes on the pressure plate so it actually opens the door. From there, this is kind of like a water trial kind of room, so the water is going to start rising, and you'll know by the sound of the specific audio. From here, you'll need to drain the water so that you can access the pressure plates underneath. So pick up the boxes with the grabnel and put them on the pressure plate. So there's one, and then there's one more door, so you'll need to do this again. And then from there, it'll open the door behind you. You're going to hear a weird sound, so essentially you need to jump and duck under the pipes to make sure you can avoid the running water. This is the mastery for the pressure plates, so you just need to make sure that you put the boxes on the pressure plates. And then to leave the sewer, you just need to jump in the boat. it'll lead you across, pick up the final collectible. From here, you just need to transition from my level to Alexa's level. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexis Marjero and I'm a campus student at Full Sail. This is my level. The objective is to get to the end to get secret information for the bastions. As you can see here, we're gonna use this cube to open the door as the first mechanic. That's a pressure plate. Second mechanic will be moving platforms. You can see here, turn on this forklift in order to move to the other side of the wall. Just gonna collect this. Okay, moving on. This room will be the introduction to my first mechanic, which is one of the pressure plates. Grab this cube and place her on the pressure plate to take this bridge down. And keep moving. If you fall in there, you'll die. You don't want to do that. Collect this. Keep moving on. This is my practice for my second mechanic. Let's use this full lift to move to these pallet stacks to go over the wall. You can see here. Alright, let's do that. Move it on to the master of my second mechanic. This is gonna be divided in two sections. It's gonna be this part, and there's gonna be another part, which we're gonna have to use all the platforms to move through water, toxic water, which we can touch or we die. Alright, let's jump this. Awesome. Moving on to the water part. Here we go. One. Here's two. Let's get the third one. Alright. So you can see here, I place a collectible right here to direct the player to this area specifically, where they're gonna find a special box, which is gonna open the end door to end the level. Let's grab this cube. Get to the other side. Oops. Save. Alright, here we go. Now we're just gonna place this cube on the pressure plate. The door's gonna open and we're gonna end the level. There you go, place it down. Like this. Alright, and that is my level. And the end of the scraps. I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoy all levels. And thank you for watching.